Hi there, we're talking about college student taxes again, and I'm answering your questions about taxes in a little series here. Today's question is, I'm a college student, what kind of tax benefits or credits can I take advantage of? And like I said, I'm going to answer that in this video today, and I'm doing a little series answering your questions about taxes. So please go ahead and like this video and subscribe so that you can be notified of the rest of the videos in this series. And if you have any questions about taxes, please put them in the comment below. So hi, my name is Steve Hunt. I am a certified public accountant, and I am the consultant for prosperity and adventure. And I'm also the expert at helping people like you reach your dreams faster. I own collegetaxrefunds.com, where we help recent college students and their parents and families claim thousands of dollars that they don't even realize they missed on their old tax returns. So if you have a recent college student in your family, have them check out collegetaxrefunds.com to see if there's any more money that they can claim from their old tax returns. And today, as I told you, we're going to answer questions specifically for college students. And I can answer questions for other people as well. Anybody's allowed to ask a question in the comments, and I'll make a video or answer your question. But today's question is, as a college student, what kind of education benefits or tax benefits do I get? Now, I just made another video that's also going up about within the next day, or maybe it went up yesterday, about the Form 1098-T and what do college students do when their university gives them a Form 1098-T. So for those of you who came to this video because you were wondering, what do I do as a college student to claim education benefits? The first thing I'm going to tell you to do is, maybe you should watch that other video, but some of the same information will be in this video, and you want to go find your Form 1098-T. Let me show you what that looks like. It's a form that your college or university will issue to you. It used to come by mail, but probably doesn't anymore. They probably post it electronically to your financial account. So if you did not get a Form 1098-T from your university, Google the name of your university and Form 1098-T. And you'll probably get a link taking you to your financial account where you can log in, and you'll see the tuition that you paid and other financial information for your university. And you may also see a link saying tax documents or end of year statements or even Form 1098-T. Click on that and you'll find your Form 1098-T. You want to download it and put it into TurboTax or whatever tax software you're using and give it to your tax preparer or CPA, whoever's doing your taxes for the year. Make sure they know that you were a student so that you can claim the student benefits. This Form 1098-T says what tuition and related expenses that you paid to your university, as well as the scholarships or grants that you received. It also mentions whether you were at least a half-time student, which is required for some very important education benefits. And it mentions whether you were a graduate student, which makes you ineligible for some education benefits, but you can still claim others. I talked about all those benefits in my earlier video about what to do with the Form 1098-T. So again, I say earlier video, it may be posted later. Wherever it's posted, check out that video. It'll be in the links below. When you have received your Form 1098-T, and by the way, if you don't get one, call your university and ask your bursar or the financial office where to get the Form 1098-T, because if you were a student, you should receive a 1098-T. Now, once you have that information, you will be eligible for education benefits, and they are all described in this publication 970. I'm going to go into a little bit more detail in this video about publication 970 than I did in my video about the Form 1098-T. So there are several benefits that students or recent college students can qualify for. One of them is that the scholarships and grants or fellowship grants that you receive don't have to be reported on your tax return as taxable income. This is the case so long as, I'm going to skip to the section of this booklet where it explains scholarship and grants are tax-free only if you are a candidate actually pursuing a degree and if your grant or scholarship does not exceed your qualified education expenses. That would be your tuition, your related fees, and the required books and other materials and supplies that you need to buy in order to be enrolled at the college or university. As long as that's all that your scholarships and grants are used for, they're tax-free. If, however, you received more scholarships or grants than your tuition and related fees, Now you have to include that excess scholarship in your taxable income. And so when you're doing your taxes, you'll be putting it on your other income tax page. Well, in the software that you're using, there'll be a page for other sources of income, and it may ask you if you have taxable scholarships, and that's where you'll put that amount. Of course, if you're using TurboTax and you simply enter the information from your 1098-T and your scholarships or grants are more than your tuition, TurboTax will either make all of your scholarships and grants tax-free, which it's technically not supposed to do, or it will include the excess in your taxable income. Now, I describe in great detail in the video about what to do with the 1098-T that most tax software and most tax preparers do not correctly claim the valuable education credits when the scholarships and grants are more than tuition, or when the scholarships and grants are almost as much as tuition. So please go watch that other video, and I'm going to point out very briefly what I mean by they don't do it correctly right here. There's this tip in Publication 970 that says you may be eligible to increase the value of your education credit and your scholarships and grants if you include some or all of your scholarships and grants in your income in the year that it is received. You need to see the examples in coordination with Pell Grants and other scholarships in Chapter 2 and 3. Most tax preparers and most tax software do not take this tip into account. They are unaware that if you receive more scholarships or grants than your tuition, you can include some of those scholarships or grants in your taxable income and then be eligible to claim very valuable tax credits during the year that you got those scholarships or grants. So, again, go watch that other video and come check out collegetaxrefunds.com and ask some questions there, or ask questions in the comments below, and we'll help you make sure you get the full value of your credits. Let's keep talking about those credits for a second. I want to go back to Publication 970 and mention some of the other benefits. Like I say, that first benefit is, yes, you can not report your scholarships and grants and just not pay taxes on them. They're tax-free as long as they're being used for tuition and other related expenses. But that's not always the best way to do it, as I just mentioned. Sometimes you'll want to actually pay taxes on your scholarships and grants because you'll want to claim the credit that's described in Chapter 2 right here, called the American Opportunity Tax Credit. This is a very valuable credit that's worth up to $2,500. Again, I describe it in the other video. It's $2,500 that is credited to you. It reduces your tax if you owe tax to the government by up to $2,500. And if you don't owe any tax to the government, you can still get a credit, meaning cash back in your pocket refunded to you, of up to $1,000. So that's a very valuable credit. You can claim this credit on the first you claim up to $2,000 of this credit on the first $2,000 of tuition and other fees and expenses that you have during the year. And then you can claim another $500 of this credit on the next $2,000 of tuition and fees. You can check out all of the details about this credit in Publication 970, and this is the most valuable credit and benefit afforded to college students. And you want to make sure that you claim this credit if you are eligible. Now, I want to point out, I said this in my other video about what to do with the 1098-T, that nearly every single undergraduate college student, that means students who have not yet received a 4-year credential, a 4-year degree or certificate, nearly every single undergraduate college student should claim this very valuable American Opportunity Tax Credit 4 times. They should do it in any of the 4 years. So they're probably going to be an undergraduate for 4, 5, 6, 7 years. And you can only claim the credit 4 times. That's the maximum. And you should claim the credit 4 times, even if your scholarships and grants paid entirely for your tuition. Even if you got paid to go to school, almost everyone should qualify for this credit and should claim at least an $800 refundable portion. If you didn't claim $800 of the American Opportunity Tax Credit for 4 years as a college student, you should check out collegetaxrefunds.com, and we can help you fix your old taxes and claim this credit if you missed it. I'm going to go back to talking about the other credits that are available and benefits available for college students. The next one is called the Lifetime Learning Credit. This one is available to students who are no longer undergraduates. That means that they might be graduate students. They've already received their 4-year certificate or credential or degree. Or maybe they're still undergraduates, but they are not a half-time student. They're not taking at least 2 classes at one time, or they're not pursuing a 4-year degree, or perhaps they are not, they've already claimed the American Opportunity Tax Credit 4 times and they can't claim it anymore. Now you qualify for the Lifetime Learning Credit. This credit is up to $2,000, and it's only available if you actually owe tax to the government. So you can't get money back if you didn't pay any tax. It's still a valuable credit, however, especially for graduate students who have another job outside of school, or for students who are going to school at night and they're working during the day. Check out the Lifetime Learning Credit. It's described here in publication 970. Another benefit for students or recent college students is the loan interest deduction. Now, many college students aren't actually making payments on their student loans, and so they're not actually paying interest. But once you graduate and you start making payments on your loans, you may have loan interest, and you'll receive a statement from the bank that you're paying the loan off to, and that statement will tell you how much student loan interest you paid during the year. Be sure to punch that into TurboTax or your tax software, or give it to your CPA, and claim the student loan interest deduction. I'm going to switch over to the 1040 and show you where some of these benefits that I've already talked about can be found. Now, this is page 2 of the 1040. On the second page, on Schedule 3 is where you will report the education credits like the Lifetime Learning Credit and the American Opportunity Tax Credit. And down here on line 29, if you're eligible for, as I said, the refundable portion of the American Opportunity Credit, that's the money that you can get back even if you didn't pay any taxes. You'll put that right here on this American Opportunity Credit line. And finally, on page 1 of the 1040, where you have a statement, it jumped. From Schedule 1, you'll have adjustments to income, and this is where you will report the student loan interest deduction. There we go. This is the Schedule 1 that, as I mentioned, you'll take an adjustment to your income right here of your student loan interest deduction on line 20. This is where you'll report the amount of interest you paid, and that reduces your taxable income. And over here is a Schedule 3 for credits and payments, and on line 3, you'll claim your education credit right there. This is the Lifetime Learning Credit or the non-refundable portion of the American Opportunity Tax Credit. And then all of that will go to, your Form 1040, as I said, where it has Schedule 1 and Schedule 3. Let's go back to our publication 970 and talk about the other benefits that are available to college students and recent students. Student loan cancellations and repayment assistance. So there's a section in here about if you have a loan that is canceled or you get some assistance repaying it, and what that means for your income for the year. Because normally when you have a loan that is canceled, that is like getting income. It's like somebody gave you money to pay off your loan, and so you have to report that cancellation of debt as taxable income. However, there are situations when you have a student loan that is canceled under which you do not have to include that canceled debt in your income. And it says here, to exclude canceled student loan debt from your income, your loan must have been made by a qualified lender to assist you in attending an eligible educational institution, college or university, and in addition, the cancellation must be due to certain reasons, death or total or permanent disability, pursuant to a provision in the loan that all or part of the debt will be canceled if you, or pursuant to a provision in the loan that all or part of the debt will be canceled if you work for a certain period of time in certain professions for any of a broad class of employers. So, for example, if you got a law degree and you went to work for the government or whatever, or when you got some kind of teaching degree and you went to actually teach, sometimes you can get loan forgiveness, and this is a great benefit to those people who qualify, and then you don't have to include that debt forgiveness in your income. All right, let's go back and see what some of the other benefits are. There's the tuition and fees deduction, which is a deduction also found on Schedule 1 of the 1040. However, this tuition and fees deduction found right here at line 21, it's where you deduct up to $4,000 of your education expenses. It's not a very valuable deduction when you compare it with the American Opportunity Tax Credit or the Lifetime Learning Credit. So most people won't benefit from this deduction, and 2020 is the last year that this deduction is available unless Congress extends it. And they've been known to do that from time to time. But don't expect that that tuition and fees deduction will be available after 2020. There's the Coverdell Education Savings Account and other qualified tuition programs. These are like 529 plans. These are education plans where people have put money away in an account for you for your education, and you can get money out of those accounts to pay your tuition, and you don't have to pay taxes on the money that comes out of those accounts or the growth or the interest that was earned on those accounts. That's a great benefit. If your parents thought ahead, or your grandparents or some other relative left you some valuable funds for college and they put it in one of these accounts, then you get this money tax-free. Now, this is one of the rare situations where, I mentioned in the other video about what to do with the 1098-T, and I'm going to mention it here. I've already said that nearly every student should claim the American Opportunity Tax Credit 4 times, even if their scholarships and grants were more than their tuition. But one of those rare situations where a student should not claim or will not be able to claim the American Opportunity Tax Credit is if their parents or somebody left them one of these 529 plans or Coverdell education plans, and now they're paying for their tuition from the income from that plan. Because the income from that plan is to be used only for that tuition, and when it's used for that tuition, it is not taxable. And if you pay off all of your tuition and qualified related expenses and other education expenses with tax-free money from a 529 or Coverdell plan, then you cannot claim the American Opportunity Tax Credit. However, there is one more workaround, and that is just don't take so much out of your 529 or Coverdell plan. If you take out almost enough to pay your tuition and qualified expenses, but you don't take out $2,000, and you essentially pay for your qualified tuition and related expenses with taxable scholarships that you include in your taxable income, or with loans, or with income from your job. You pay $2,000 of your qualified tuition and related expenses with those other sources, then you can claim the valuable American Opportunity Tax Credit and get that $800 back. That's by not taking out quite as much from your Coverdell Education Savings Plan or from your qualified tuition program. Another benefit for college students, recent college students, is the ability to withdraw money from your IRA or from your 401k sometimes for your own college education or for the college education of one of your dependents. Usually when you take money out of your IRA, that's your retirement account, or your 401k retirement account, early, meaning before you retire, you have to pay tax on it as well as a penalty. However, one benefit for education is that you can take money out sometimes from those plans, your retirement accounts, and use it for qualified tuition, and you will not have to pay the penalty. That's a 10% tax or penalty. Go ahead and read in Publication 970 the details on how to take that money out, and don't do it unless you qualify. Maybe you should talk to a tax professional. In fact, I'm going to recommend that you talk to your tax professional about all of these educational benefits. Now, there's also an educational savings bond program, once again, where your parents or some benefactor leaves you money for college by buying savings bonds for you, and then you are able to cash in those bonds and get the interest on those bonds tax-free if you use them for qualified tuition. There's also the benefit where your boss, your employer, actually provides for some of your education, pays for your education, and that money does not have to be taxed. The boss gets to deduct it as a business expense, which is a great benefit to your boss. So if you're working right now and you think your boss might want you to go get another degree and might benefit from you going and getting more education, go ask your boss whether they have a program for paying for tuition, maybe for paying for night classes or paying for a master's degree or another graduate degree. And if they do, then they will be able to deduct this, get the tax benefit of paying for your education, and you also get a tax benefit because the amount that they give you up to a certain amount that's $5,250 that your education that your employer pays will be tax free, and that's a great benefit to not have to come up with that $5,250 towards your own education. So once again, though, if you use that to pay for your undergraduate degree and it is tax free, you will not be able to qualify for the American Opportunity Tax Credit. unless you have some qualified tuition and related expenses that you do not pay with that tax-free money. And then the last education-related benefit described in this publication 970 for college students and recent college students is having the ability to simply deduct your own education as a work-related education expense. And this is a little bit more challenging than you would think. If you own your own business, first of all, if you're working for somebody else as their employee, you're not going to be able to deduct your work-related education or any other work-related expenses on your tax return. But if you own your own business and you are getting some education, like paying for continuing professional education, CPE, if you're an accountant or a lawyer, or getting continuing education as a nurse or doctor or some other medical professional, or getting some continuing professional education as a teacher, those things will likely be deductible if you have your own business and you're doing the accounting or the lawyering or the doctoring or the teaching. But you are not going to be able to deduct other business-related education expenses. And so you should, if you're interested, take a look at publication 970. So that's the summary of all of the tax benefits for education. And it is in this 95-page booklet, which the number of pages changes from year to year, but go check out publication 970. And please put any other questions you have about tax benefits for education in the comments below. Please like this video and share it with anybody you know who has these questions about tax-related benefits for education for students. And go ahead and subscribe to the channel and ask me any of your questions about taxes. Thanks so much. Have a great day.